community-based approaches to mental health and psychosocial support work with affected communities to enable them to care for and support their members. They involve the community in all stages of the response, from assessment and planning to implementation and evaluation. In 2020, the Working Group on Community-Based Mental Health and Psychosocial Support of the IASC Reference Group on MHPSS organized online exchanges for practitioners around the world about the practical challenges they face in implementation. In preparation for this, field practitioners submitted questions about some of the issues they found most difficult when working in community settings. Instead of a conventional webinar, the working group organized an online exchange that enabled practitioners to speak directly to each other to exchange experiences. In breakout rooms, small groups of participants chose questions that they wanted to address and heard from colleagues with broad and diverse experiences of how they managed these challenges. One of the questions participants chose to discuss was, what are the skills, attitudes, or characteristics that we need to work collaboratively with communities using a community-based MHPSS approach? How can I develop these or help our teams acquire them?
First of all, we need to start with a stance of cultural humility. We need to not put ourselves above other people. We have to respect people by listening to what are their priorities, what are their categories of distress, what are the things that they think need to be addressed. The skills that we need are not necessarily technical knowledge, but we need to find a way first to background our knowledge. We need to ask open-ended questions like, what are the things that show that people are well, or what kinds of problems with well-being are people having here? And then we need to listen actively and deeply. That means not inserting our views, not using our checklists, not using our own mental categories.
But the one point that came through very strongly in all their responses was to do with a belief that we must hold and a trust in the capabilities of the community. Moses in Uganda puts this very well. He says it means having the belief that the solutions to the problem we are dealing with lie 80% with the communities we are targeting rather than ourselves. If we want to strengthen the psychosocial well-being of people, we need to recognise what they can do rather than what we are able to give.
But the best way to develop these skills is through critical practice. And that means being reflective, trying out skills such as being empathic, listening deeply, using probing questions, being respectful and not judging people, and then thinking back to yourself, what went well? What could I have done better? Or think through with a mentor and an external observer who can give positive feedback. And it's through this ongoing reflexive praxis, I think, that we get better.
Another question participants discussed was, how can I use a community-based MHPSS approach when working with communities that have lost hope or motivation because of their experiences or situation?
Are based on the understanding that communities can be drivers for their own care and change agents, and should be meaningfully involved in all stages of an MHPSS response. And amidst the hopelessness and the lack of motivation, each individual, each community member has some strength, and hence it is important to strive to strengthen the positive effect, promotion of meaningful participation, the respect of religion, culture, practices, empowerment of ability of the affected population to holistically promote their own well-being.
Frank Kelly, working in the Dominican Republic, talks about the importance of having conversations about people's previous hopes, beliefs, motivations, and what they've done previously that's helped them. And Moses in Uganda expanded on this. He said, when people are hopeless and despairing, we need to find out what they've done previously in similar situations and reactivate those coping strategies.
In their breakout rooms, participants shared their experiences, challenges, and solutions from diverse contexts. These conversations continue within an emerging community of practice. For more information about community-based approaches to MHPSS, see the guidance note from the IASC MHPSS Reference Group. You can find this resource and connect with other practitioners working with community-based approaches at MHPSS.net.